Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Gamaway, the Greater Austin metropolitan area. My name is Douglas Goff. I've been an active agent in the Greater Austin metropolitan area since 2012, and I've been in real estate since 1997. Today I sent out, let's see, where are we going here? Let's look at what's going on overall. Today we're going to be talking about the 78756 zip code. That would be Allendale, Brentwood, and Rosewood areas and see what we can find because I love looking for a good deal and see what's happening inside there. So let's just run over this latest update from earlier this week for the month of June. What we saw in the counties, we can see in the counties right now, Travis County had about a little over 1,200 sales. Williamson County, a little over 900. Hayes County at 480. Bell County was 135. Bastrop coming in at 127. I guess that Netflix studio is getting closer and closer to getting completed. And your median sales price was about $430,000, almost 2% down from this time last year. Let's take a quick gander at what's going on. Let's keep following the residential sales market. We can see that overall in the Greater Austin metropolitan area, again, right there at that 430,000, there was almost $2 billion in sales. The average sales price is 570,000, which was up 2% from this time last year in June. Because this is incorporating a lot more. This is incorporating more so the 5 counties that I really cover than the 34 counties that are throughout all of central Texas. If we go for a quick residential market snapshot, we can see that in the Austin Round Rock area, slightly up a little over the counties at 439,000. We've got an average price per square foot at $259 price per square foot. However, look at this number right here, 93, about 94%. It looks like it's still carrying about 6% below the asking price. Many sellers are accepting about 6% below asking price. It is definitely a seller's market. These are just some overall. In the rental market in the Austin Round Rock area, we can see that the median lease is at about $2,300, kind of flat year over year. It was getting pretty aggressive. We will run over in the apartment communities, not the houses, condos, and duplexes, but the apartment communities are still at about an 85% occupancy ratio, and they typically like to be at 95%. So I've been seeing some incredible deals, like 2-3 months worth of free rent, plus $1,000 to $3,000 gift card. But we'll get to the rents. Right now, rent is on average at about $1.55 a square foot, and original to list is at about 3% down. So that is what's happening in the general markets. Now, let's take a look inside 78756. That's the zip code that we're going to be searching for today. Allendale, Brentwood, and Rosedale neighborhoods. So let's see how our pricing is there. Ooh, doggy, right? You've got, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Austin area, this is in and around Hyde Park. It's pretty much central Austin. If you go about 2-3 miles north of here, that's where the Domain is, which is, I consider to be little downtown Austin, North Austin. It's like a second downtown area. Pretty cool. I like it up there. But in the 78756 zip code, we can see that the median sales price is $820,000. And that is down almost 7% from last year. And we can see that the average sales is $808,000. Now, this is odd because typically an average sales price means that it is about 10 to 15% above the median sales price. And this is almost little over 17% down year over year. What is this telling me? That's telling me that it is a buyer's market. If this is your price point in and around that 78756, they're really trying to get these houses sold inside there. How are we looking at the rents? Let's look at if you wanted to live in there and rent at 78756. We're going to get to looking at some of these properties in just a minute. We're just going to be going over the numbers so we can identify the best values, right? I mean, that's one of the things that I love to do. I love finding those hidden treasures. So from a leasing perspective, the median lease is, again, $2,100. Average lease is about $2,521. And there were about 18 leases. And if the what did I just say? $1.55 a square foot is what's average for the greater Austin metropolitan area. Inside there, what is that? That is $2.15 a square foot. So what? 155 divided by 215. That means that you're paying almost a 30% premium to live in and around that area. And if we go back looking at the 820,000 median sales price compared to the 430,000, that's almost double. You're paying about 100% premium on living in that lifestyle. Now, if we want to know what that would be from a price perspective, no, I don't want adjustable. Not a fan of adjustables. Where's my fixed rate? So from a price perspective, if we were to buy the median sales price, and let's say that you had 10% down or 20% down to avoid that PMI, and we're assuming that you're going to have good credit scores. So right now you could probably still get 6.25. Right now interest rates are ranging between about 6.25 and 6.75, just depending upon your credit score. And let's see what your monthly payment would be on that. Your monthly payment on that would be about $4,000 a month. Now, that's just your principal and interest that you're paying. And if you were paying $820,000 minus $140,000, if you set up a homestead, $680,000 times 0.0185 for your tax rate, about $12,000, and then you've got your homeowner's insurance. So you're looking at about 50, somewhere between $5,500 and $6,000 a month to rent. But if you itemize your taxes, there's ways for those property taxes and interest to actually reduce your income, federal income tax in there. Okay, so right now, in and around the Allandale-Brentwood-Rosedale area, we can see that there is about 51 properties on the market right now. So we're going to come over to our results and let's see how they're looking. We're going to go to the cumulative days on market. System always slows down when we get to this point in trying to query a few things. We'll go to 300. There we go. And now what we can see is, let's go to page 3. So right now, in and around, we can see about, oh my goodness gracious, this guy off of Winona has been on and off the market, It's still moving along, which is there. So while we're waiting for that to query, let's come on over to Yeah, 78756, the most recent market report. Homes for sale, they are down. Here you got, and so this is updated today as opposed to what was going on in June. So remember the at average home price, even though that's going down, average sold price was about 24.2 in and around the area right there. But while we're waiting, let's come back here. Wow, must be more of the rain that's slowing the systems down. Let's close out of this one. Let's close out of this, get rid of some of these tabs, see if we can save ourselves a tad bit. And we'll just do a quick refresh. Thank goodness for editing material. I'll cut some of this out for you guys when I do. Ooh. All right. Coming back in to where we were. Okay. So we could see some of these. These are just now onto the market. So negotiating, not really going to negotiate a whole heck of a lot. Wow, you got a lot of small ones. These are going to be condos in the area. So let's come back to our criteria and take a look at just the single family dwellings first, because those condos and townhomes are going to skew us a tad bit. Still spinning. Why is it taking so long today? I'll tell you what, let's just close out of this tab. That's my website. You can search ad-free. Well, we'll go into that in just a minute. Let's come back into the MLS, see about getting something fresh. Okay. What we see here is there's 68 new properties on the market. 95 properties have decreased their prices today. 6 increased, 12 were under contract, went back on market. 14 properties went under contract today. 53 are pending. Those are likely to close, and 46 properties actually closed today. Okay, so let's come on in. We're going to do a search. And we're going to be looking inside 78756. We are going to be wanting single family dwellings only. So, let's do this. Let's take out single family dwellings, 51 properties. So about, what is that? About 15 of the properties are, condos. So we've got 36 houses that are all homes. Let's say in most houses, you're going to want to have at least 2,000 square feet. We're going to want to have at least 2.5 bathrooms. So we're going to go for 3 or more. So out of the 36 properties, look at that. I went to 2,000 square feet and I made sure that we had at least 2.5 bathrooms. Now we're down to 14 properties. If you look down here in your lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that 14. Let's see if I can bring this up a little. Okay. Yeah. So you see down here, 14 properties. And we started off with 36. Most people are going to want to have a garage if I'm paying $1 million for a property. So out of those 14, 3 of them did not have a garage. And let's see, how about anybody with an HOA? Boy, you are just locking up on me today. Okay, we're not going to worry about the HOA right now. Okay, so we've got about 11 properties right now, and let's see where we are coming in. All right, so first thing I always like to do is come back here and let's take days on market. So let's go down to Lawn Mount. First, let's take a look at the map. Ooh, there's one on Shoal Creek Boulevard. Love Shoal Creek Boulevard. They must have gotten slammed over this past week. Okay, so you can see here, right? Not a lot inside Rosedale, but in and around that Allandale and Brentwood neighborhood is what we've got. So and we've got 2 on Lawn Mount. Look at that. 2 neighbors, both selling. They're both at about $1.8 million. Where's our price per square foot in and around this area? So these guys, watch, I could almost tell you that this person, okay, this is a new build. Okay, so here what they did was they went for a condo regime. They still got their single family dwelling status. It's about 3,000 square feet. Been on the market for, geez, oh Pete's, almost a year, and their original listing price was 1.95 million. So they have dropped it from 1.95. We're going to call that 2 million. They're at 18 divided by 2. So they've dropped it about 10% over the past year. What does it look like inside? Let's take a look at this. Ooh, okay. They got a nice little pool, little lap pool, something to cool down to. Looks like they've got another room in the back, so a little suite to where you can escape. Still looks a little, I like the brick. Okay, bathrooms are nice. So they've got separate areas, like a little cabana. Very modern. My only hesitation with doing something like this with the colors, and colors are cosmetic, you can go ahead and change that, but this is going to be something that is individualized. I like the sunlights that they've got coming in. Great natural light. The pool is nice. Couple of different areas, but for me this really seems to be bedroom comes right out onto the grass. Now this, I am a big fan of this. This looks to me like a lot of turf. Rubber turf, AstroTurf. So it all comes down, very low yard maintenance, always clean on the feet. You know, if you've got a dog that goes out there and goes to the bathroom, just spray it down. Got privacy fences. So nice property, but I can see why it's been on the market for a while. It's really set up for an individual that really likes those colors and whatnot, because you don't want to drop, you know, almost $2 million on a property. And I can almost guarantee you that 2114 is probably pretty much the same. All right, a little bit different, not much. Same style, exactly the same thing, right? Okay, so this is a little bit darker. This is a different flavor. And let's take a look at, they are now at 1.85 and they started off at 2. Again, both of these properties, I can see why they're staying on the market. They're way overpriced. They're just probably trying to cover their costs. Some builder came in there and bought one lot, split it up into 2 lots. I'm guessing. I'm just basing things off of norms. So that's been something that's on here. Let's go for, let's see, this is 2,200 square feet, 4 bedroom, and they all seem tight. You see, you got 5 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms. You got 4 full bathrooms. That's nice. But in something like that, you know, it's not a college dorm. That's going to be all tight. Yeah, 3,000 square feet, 600 square feet per person. Okay, it won't be so tight, but they're way above. Inside, let's see over here. So this is what let's look at the lot size. Okay, so this is a decent lot size. Usually most lot size are 0.15 acres. And what do you got? 43,560 is an acre times 0.15. So that's about a lot size of about 6,500 square feet. And on these two, the lawn mount properties we just looked at were what? 43,560 times 0.2. They're at about 8,700 square feet divided by that 6,500. So, you know, you get about a third more land. Which is good. This is a nice size on Shoalwood. Again, that's your $1 million properties. And remember, when we were at that 880, again, your monthly payments are going to be somewhere between 55, let's say 57.50 and 62.50, depending upon your credit score, what your down payment is. All of that stuff can change when you're looking here. Now, so at Shoalwood, what's going on with Shoalwood? I really want to take a look at Joe Sayers. Okay, so Joe Sayers, just because let's look at what the least expensive property is. You've got a bit of a smaller lot. It was built in 2008, 2,200 square feet, decent size. See here, your 5698 lot size, land size per square foot. Let's take a look at it. Okay, private backyard, nice. But this looks like it's a condo environment. Why this is coming? Okay, so are they right next door to each other? Yeah. So you got two entrances. So you got half the house and half the house. So that's about 4,000 square feet. You're sharing a wall. Information is only as good as the realtor that's putting it in. It's not, could be a duplex, could be a condo. Depends on how they set it up. But wood floors, nice. So they did some renovations in here. At 760,000, you're going to be at about 5,000 to, again, down payments and whatnot. Unit B, Joe Sawyer's, which means you've got an HOA, and that's about $156 a month. And typically, I'd need to go into the details and look a little bit closer to that to see if water and trash are included in that HOA. A lot of times they are. Here you got Shoalwood and Shoalwood Avenue. Let's look at my one on, okay. So this one on Shoal Creek Boulevard, they just reduced their prices. That's 3,400 square feet, built in 2016. Good sized lot, 0.2 acres, 8,600 square feet. And again, there's other properties in here, but they're not going to have a garage. All right, so you're at about $2 million in and around. Nice wood flooring, got a gas stove that's in there, open. Everything feels good. Looks like you could be getting some great natural light, recessed lightings. Nice open floor plan. Not really a formal dining area, but you got that kitchen over there. People could belly up to the bar. Little wine fridge, nice. Some more storage. Again, classic features. High ceilings, vaulted ceilings going off into the backyard. Compartmentalized inside, spiral staircase. Curious to know what that goes to. Yeah. An area outdoors that you can be walking around, looking above the trees. Nice bathrooms. Tasteful. See, as opposed to the one that we just got done looking at on on Lawnmount with all of those funky colors. Some of you may love those colors, but again, when I look for a property, I always try and figure out how quickly can we sell it if needed, right? Life is what happens to the plans that we make. So you always want to be prepared. So keeping things classic, tasteful. Oh, cute backyard. Great for a little dog. However, I would probably want to change that chain link fence and put something else in there, just to add a little bit more privacy. Yes, privacy. Yeah, big, nice. Tasteful, nice. Okay. I can see, let's see, how long have they been on the market? This one just got reduced. They've been on the market about 90 days. They're getting tired of cranking out the extra mortgage. And they really drove it. What was it? It was 1950. Now they're at 1825. What did they drop that to? 1825 divided by 1950. All right, they dropped it about 7%, 6.5%, 7%. And that seems to be where most of the sellers are accepting below their fair market value. They just reduced the price. And let's see, what do we got? Modern farmhouse, light fridge. Okay. Trying to keep things tight. Anytime you want to talk or tour and get a little bit more detailed for specifically what you're looking for, please go to the link, the descriptions below, and there's links to either set a time to talk or tour. There's also places that you can look for all of the new home construction, and all of my search sites are ad-free. I'm unlike a lot of realtors. I don't spam you. I don't hound you. I'm here when you need me. 24/7, 365. Simple as that. My phone number is down there as well. Let's look at the one that just came on the market. Where are they at? This is a 1950. Thing I love about this neighborhood, that actually I've been in this neighborhood, which is really cool. Some of these that were built in the 1950s, I have seen some old bomb shelters that have been turned into wine cellars. That's from the 1950s, the nuclear scare. So you're at about $435 a square foot. Good pricing, right? $27.54 so far. Good size, right? About 600 square feet per person. You got your 2 full bathrooms. You got your half bath. You got a 2-car garage. It is upstairs, downstairs. So let's see how well that they've renovated this. Classic. Oh, love the little veranda. All right. Got that little basketball hoop. Feel like I'm in Happy Days. Classic. Traditional wood floors, clean. They've done a nice job renovating. Curious to know if they updated a lot of the electrical. I'd need to dig into the details a little bit more for that. Ceiling fans kind of blend into the wall. Nice wood doors. Now, you see, this is a good value. Like, my girlfriend absolutely adores white kitchens. That's all she can live with. I'm good with the wood. It fits the property. Good tile. Great for animals. They love that tile on their paws. Okay. Yeah, this is a little traditional and dated. Some people may not feel as if it's contemporary enough, but it works. It works, and I would rather keep $800,000, 1.2 compared to, so let's see, at 1.2, and again, I'm just doing these figures in my head, lots of different configures. So if we were at 880 and you were at about $6,000 a month, you're probably looking at somewhere around, $7,500, $8,000 a month for your monthly payment, unless you bought it cash. And a lot of people buying $1 million properties love that ceiling. Little change from the rest of the house gives it a little bit flavor, something that people don't notice, but it just feels warm, comfy, cozy. Great little backyard. Look at that tree. As I was saying, a lot of the people buying $1 million homes are just coming in with cash. You got, this is probably a work studio. Do we got that? Oh, so I think they turned this into a bedroom. No, this is the master. Oh, walk-in closet, ladies. Look at that. The old, nope. That takes me back to Ohio. Maybe they've got a laundry basket down there, so you can just pop it open and toss all your clothes in there. When I was growing up in Ohio, we had basements, and so we had one of those laundry chutes to where it went down from the second floor into the basement. Used to nail my brothers with little water balloons every now and then. Good old times. I like the cut-ins, right? This is just classic. Good property, priced well. This probably won't stay on the market too long. So that's what you're getting into. Really only one of the single family dwellings. So whoever put in the information on the ones that were duplexes or condos shouldn't have done that inside there. Again, looks like Google not responding. Okay, here we go. What else? And let's see, 652 a square foot. Let's see. Again, that was Shoalwood. So let's take Let's take a look at this. This is Clay Avenue. See, it's got unit number B. So again, that's going to be a duplex. They're at $386 a square foot. Let's see if it changes a whole heck of a lot in doing this. Where am I at? 30 minutes. Okay. You know what? While that is going on, what I'd really like to do. So that's where you're at about $6,000 a month inside that Brentwood area. That is going to be with a 20% down payment to avoid your PMI. Or that you can get in for 5 or 10%. So what is anything leasing inside here? Google not responding. All right. We're waiting and waiting and waiting again. I'll be cutting this out of the video. All right. So now let's take come on. Another reason that this is probably happening is because I've blown up the screen so you guys can see it better. Now let's see what's leasing in and around this area. Where's my zip code? There's my zip code. There we go, 78756. So 44 properties, single families. So 30 of these are condos, duplexes, some apartments. So just looking for the houses themselves, we've got 14. And what did we say the square footage was? Price per square foot was at about $1.55. That was all throughout the counties, about $2.55. So, right? And you can see again, these aren't really single family dwellings. Notice Joe Sayers back on there. So they're either leasing it or trying to sell it. 800 square feet, 800 square feet. Really, we want, from a value perspective, 2,000 square feet, and going to be trying to get at least 2.5 bathrooms for living style. So really, it looks like, from a practicality perspective, we've got these two on Ulrich here at about, look at that, $6,700, right? That's what you could be owning for monthly if you've got the money to put down in the down payment. And again, that 3,300 square feet, 5,000, let's just look at it. So unless you're just here, oh, yeah, no. Great neighborhood, love the neighborhood. But unless I'm only in town for 6 to 9 months or 12 months, or you've got too many properties in your portfolio already, nice property, but certainly no, not renting it for $6,700. I'll be happy to help you lease it for $6,700. It would just not be. I don't find it prudent, personally. It's only been on the market 12 days. Watch, it'll sit on the market for a while. We can come back and look at that a little bit later. Let's look at this other one on Ulrich. Again, you can see $4,300, a little bit more reasonable, but not nearly as many. Okay, looks okay on the inside. Again, I think this is a little bit small at $4,900, and you've got the yard work to do, and it's an older property. Nice. Certainly nice. I mean, go back to that other walk-in closet we looked at. You know, this is just, nothing I'm excited about. So if we come back into our criteria, we take out the single-family dwelling. Let's get out of the 3 bedrooms. Let's get rid of the square footage. Let's make sure that we've got a garage. So only 4 properties have a garage. Let's see this one. $188 a square foot, 1959. 2 bed, 2 full bath, 1,800 square feet, $3,300. Ugh. 8-foot ceilings. Oh no. So now, if you're having to live in that neighborhood, and again, this is something that you can come to, it's in the description below. You can search on your own as you please. And let's see, I'm just wanting to search. This is on apartments only. And again, you guys have access to all of this ad-free. Where are we going? So if we're going to narrow it by the area, we're really looking in and around Central. That's my 78756. Not really far west, completely different neighborhood. So in and around here, let's just see. I do want to see their policies. Must be running a special. And now let's run a search. What do we have? 23 properties. So let's go back to our revisions. And let's say that from an amenities perspective, I need a walk-in closet, either laminate, stained concrete, wood floors, no needs my dishwasher, needs the microwave, granite countertops, black or stainless steel. In this case, because of the neighborhood, usually I go with supplied only, but we want to make sure that they've got at least, because in this neighborhood and the older ones, you've got some of that problems to where some units just do not have connections inside the unit. And so let's see where we are. Smart technology. Nope, not worried about gas. Let's see what oh my goodness gracious, excuse me. My brain needs some airs. Okay, so now we've got 9. Let's look at this. Let's look at this one. You get a $1,000 gift card if you get it in. If you move in right away, you get an extra $1,000 gift card. What's this special? 100% off of 1 month's rent on 2 bedrooms on a 12-month lease. So 11-month lease, 100% off, 2 bedrooms, 11% reduced rate to $1,555 on 2 bedrooms. Let's come back over here. When's the year built? 2010, 2013. Let's see what we have. So 84. Let's look at, this is a good old one. Oh, okay. Renovated. Karina. No, let's take a gander at, Revel on Lamar. Let's see what they've got. What do these pictures look like? All right, a little bit tighter, but you're renting. You got your clubhouse, you got your gym, you got a bit of a view. Inside, higher ceilings, washer dryer supplied, but what are we doing? Come on, get me to escape. We're just gonna refresh here. Refresh. What did you do? Stackable inside. So where are there 2 bedrooms? Lots of different floor plans. So you got 500 square feet per person in a 2, but you're at about, let's take a look at this one. Not bad. But you get 2 months rent. 2 months rent. Free. So even let's say that you're at that where were we? at $25.70. So now take that $25.70 times 2. That's $51.40. You're on a 12-month lease. That's $428, right? And they're at $25.70. So, dude, that's $1,000 a month per person. That's $2,000 a month effective rent because you've got 2 months. It's $2,500, $2,570, right? So let's do that. $2,570 minus that $425 because we took 2 months rent divided by 12. So effectively, you're at $2,145 divided by 2. That's $1,100 per person if you've got a roommate. Not bad. Not bad at all. And let's see this other one. I know most of these. House that was renovated. They did a decent job, but this one, lots of people. Everybody knows the triangle. Oh, and here's the kicker, right? As long as you list me as your realtor, I will send you $500 after. Oh, another emergency warning. So let's see this one. At the triangle, what do they have going right now? A 2-bed, 2.5 bath. What do you got? You got about 2,000 square feet. You're at $3,600, $3,700. And again, let's see what are the specials that they're running. Lookingly special up to 4 weeks. So $3,600 off of the full month's rent. So the base price is $3,650 divided by 12 because they're only giving you 1 month. So you're actually at about $3,300 a month, and lots of conveniences, great walkability, older property, good pool, awesome management company. There's your finishes. All the floor plans change depending upon where you're at. So that's usually a pretty good value. But we've got tons and tons of other choices. If you appreciate the content, I'm wrapping up, going close to 45 minutes here. I hope I haven't bored you too much. I appreciate you sticking around. Please hit the like and subscribe button to help me out. I'm new at doing these YouTube channels, so I can use all the support that you guys have. My name is Douglas Goff. My mission is to help you avoid pesky pitfalls and frequent frustrations. My value is I'll tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. And my goal is to earn your confidence and get you home safely at the right time and price. Douglas Goff, opening doors for your lifestyles, and I'm here when you need me. And if you need any of the information in the description below, you've got ad-free searches for residential properties. You've got ad-free searches on your own. Just register on my website, log in. For all new construction, if you're looking to get out of Austin, because there's not a lot of new construction in Austin anymore. There's some, but not much. And then also on the apartment community. So you've got 3 different links to where you can search different categories, all ad-free. And I'm running summer specials. Like if you're buying new construction right now, I'll pay they're going to give you a lot of incentives. I'll pay for your title policy. They're not going to pay for your title policy like most sellers do. The builders won't, but I will. Depending upon the price of the new home construction, that could be $3,000, $4,000, but I'll cover that out of my commissions if you give me a shout. Otherwise, make it a great day.